Hello, and welcome to Who's Number 1. In this video, we will show you the wealthiest people in the history of humanity, and their estimated net worth. These individuals accumulated immense wealth throughout their lives, and their legacies have stood the test of time. However, determining their net worth is not an easy task, as many of them lived in different times and their wealth was measured in different ways. It is important to note that many of these individuals were not just wealthy in terms of money but also in terms of land, slaves, jewels and other forms of wealth. Make sure to stay until the end, because you are probably not expecting many of the names on this list. Having said this, let's take a look at who made the list and how they amassed their fortunes. Number 10, Emperor Akbar I of the Mughal Empire. Emperor Akbar I of the Mughal Empire was known for his vast wealth and the grandeur of his court, which was said to rival that of the Persian Shahs. He controlled a large portion of India, and his empire was known for its wealth in precious metals, gems, and textiles. He was also known for his patronage of the arts, and his court was famous for its poets, scholars, and artists. The Mughal Empire was one of the most powerful empires in the world during Akbar's reign. His estimated net worth was around $100 billion. Number 9, Emperor Shenzong of Song. Emperor Shenzong of Song was a powerful ruler who controlled a significant portion of China and its economy during his reign. He was known for his patronage of the arts, and his wealth was derived from the prosperous agriculture and trade of the Song dynasty. Under his rule, the economy of the Song dynasty flourished, and he was able to build a powerful navy and expand the empire's territory. His net worth was estimated to be around $90 billion. Number 8, Augustus Caesar. As the first Roman emperor, Augustus Caesar greatly expanded the Roman Empire and accumulated wealth through conquests and economic policies. His fortune was built on the spoils of war, control of vast territories, and the taxation of the Roman people. He is considered to be one of the most successful emperors in Roman history, and his rule marked the beginning of the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability throughout the Roman Empire. His net worth was estimated to be around $85 billion. Number 7, William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror was the first Norman king of England, and his conquest of England in 1066 brought him immense wealth. He was known to have amassed a large amount of land, treasure, and other assets throughout his reign. He is considered one of the most successful military leaders in history, and his conquest of England led to significant changes in the country's language, culture, and political structure. He was estimated to have a fortune of around $150 billion. Number 6, Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi controlled the oil-rich nation of Libya and used his wealth to fund a lavish lifestyle and political campaigns. He was estimated to have a personal fortune of around $200 billion at the time of his death. He ruled Libya for over 40 years, during which time he nationalized the country's oil industry, resulting in a significant increase in oil production and revenue for the country. However, his rule was marked by human rights violations and political repression. Number 5, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. As the last Tsar of Russia, Tsar Nicholas controlled one of the largest empires in the world and had access to vast wealth. He was estimated to have a net worth of $300 billion at the time of his death. He inherited the Russian throne in 1894, and during his reign, the country went through significant industrialization and modernization. He was also known for his extravagant lifestyle and the opulence of his court. However, his rule was marked by political unrest, economic turmoil, and ultimately revolution, which led to his downfall and death in 1918. Number 4, Joseph Stalin. As the leader of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin controlled a massive economy and used his power to amass personal wealth. He was the dictator of the Soviet Union from the mid-1920s until his death in 1953. He was known for his brutal tactics in consolidating power and for his role in the forced collectivization of agriculture and the purges of his political opponents. Under his rule, the Soviet Union became a superpower, but at a tremendous cost in human lives. It is estimated that his net worth was around $10 billion during his lifetime. Stalin's net worth is hard to determine due to the secretive nature of the Soviet government and the lack of transparency in the country's finances during his rule. It is important to note that Stalin's wealth was not solely measured in financial terms, as he controlled one of the largest economies in the world during his rule as the leader of the Soviet Union. Joseph Stalin had immense political power and control over the country's resources, including its vast industrial and agricultural production, as well as control over a large portion of the world's resources, which gave him tremendous economic power. Additionally, Stalin's policies led to the forced collectivization of agriculture and the purges of his political opponents, which resulted in the deaths of millions of people and the displacement of many more. This enabled Stalin to have control over a large workforce and resources, resulting in a significant increase in the Soviet Union's industrial and agricultural production. Number 3. Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was a Scottish-American industrialist and philanthropist who made his fortune in the steel industry. He was born in 1835 in Scotland and immigrated to the United States with his family in 1848. He started his career as a telegrapher and quickly moved up the ranks in the railroad industry, eventually becoming a division superintendent for the Pennsylvania Railroad. In the 1870s, Carnegie began investing in the steel industry and eventually formed the Carnegie Steel Company. He used the latest technologies and business practices to greatly improve the efficiency and productivity of his steel mills, allowing him to undersell his competitors. By the 1890s, Carnegie Steel was the largest steel producer in the world. In 1901, Carnegie sold his steel company to J.P. Morgan for $480 million, which would be equivalent to around $310 billion today. After selling his steel company, Carnegie turned his attention to philanthropy and donated a large portion of his fortune to support various causes, such as libraries, education, and scientific research. He is considered one of the wealthiest men in history and one of the most prominent philanthropists of his time. Carnegie is also remembered for his writings, particularly his 1889 essay The Gospel of Wealth, in which he proposed that the wealthy had a moral obligation to use their wealth for the betterment of society. He advocated for the wealthy to use their wealth to promote social and economic advancement and to reduce poverty and inequality. He also promoted the idea of philanthropic efficiency, which emphasized the importance of using scientific and business methods to achieve social progress. Number 2. John D. Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller was an American businessman, philanthropist, and the founder of the Standard Oil Company, which became one of the largest oil refineries in the world during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. He was born in 1839 in New York and began his career in the oil industry as a bookkeeper. He eventually went into business for himself and established the Standard Oil Company, which he built into a massive enterprise through a combination of aggressive business practices and shrewd investments. Rockefeller's company controlled a significant portion of the oil industry, and he became one of the wealthiest men in America. He is estimated to have had a net worth of around $340 billion in today's dollars at the time of his death. In addition to his business success, Rockefeller was also known for his philanthropy. He donated millions of dollars to support various causes, such as education, medical research, and the arts. He also established the Rockefeller Foundation, which continues to support various philanthropic efforts to this day. Rockefeller's business practices were not without controversy, though, as he was known for using ruthless tactics to eliminate competition and for controlling a significant portion of the oil industry. He was also criticized for his lack of transparency and for the wealth gap between his company and the workers who worked for him. Despite this, his fortune and philanthropy have had a lasting impact on American society. Many of his business practices were considered unethical and monopolistic. Still, his philanthropic efforts were quite significant. Number 1. Mansa Musa I of Mali. And the wealthiest person in history is Mansa Musa I of Mali. He was a 14th century ruler of the Mali Empire, and his wealth was said to be so great that it destabilized the global economy. Mansa Musa I was the 10th Mansa, which translates to King of Kings or Emperor, of the Mali Empire. He ruled from around 1312 to 1337. The Mali Empire was located in West Africa and was known for its wealth in gold, as well as other resources such as salt and copper. Mansa Musa is most famous for his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, which brought him fame and prestige. He is said to have brought with him a large entourage of people, including scholars and poets, as well as a large amount of gold. The trip was so grand that it is said to have destabilized the economies of the regions he passed through and caused inflation. During his reign, Mansa Musa I is said to have been a generous ruler and a patron of the arts. He is credited with building madrasas, or Islamic schools, throughout the empire and encouraging the spread of Islam in West Africa. He also built several mosques and other public works. Mansa Musa's empire was known for its prosperity and cultural achievements. It was a center of trade and scholarship and was famous for its universities and libraries. He is remembered as one of the greatest rulers in West African history. Mansa Musa is estimated to have had a net worth of $400 billion, but it could very well be much more. Well, there you have it. The 10 wealthiest people in the history of humanity. These individuals left a lasting legacy of wealth and power. Their fortunes were built on a variety of sources, from conquests and control of resources to industry and innovation. However, it is important to remember that their wealth came at a cost, whether it was through war, exploitation, or repression. Do you think any of the world's current billionaires will ever make their way through to this list? Would you have included someone who was not on this list? Make sure to leave what you think in the comments section below. If you reached this far, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more top 10 videos. This is Who's Number 1. See you next time.